I did realize from the very beginning that obesity is not your own fault, it's not your own choice. There's so much more to it. It's your body, it's your satiety center, but we didn't have enough research to understand that.
Meet Professor Kirsi Pirtalainen. For over 30 years, she has been chasing a deeper truth. If obesity is not about willpower, then what is it? She looked past blame and saw biology, how the body regulates hunger, stores fat, and resists weight loss.
Obesity research is so fascinating. You can look at life from so many different perspectives. We can look at molecules, we can look at genes, we can look at mitochondria, all the way to the human being, to the lifestyle, to psychology, and everything that happens in human life.
Obesity is not one story. It is a web of biology, lifestyle, and human experience. In the mid-1990s, Kirsi Pirtalainen set out to untangle it. At her side was Professor Aila Rissanen, a guiding force who did not just shape her thinking, but quietly nudged her toward a turning point on an ordinary drive that led to an extraordinary idea.
I do remember the car ride where she introduced me to this idea of jumping into the world of twin research.
On the drive together, Aila opened Kirsi's eyes to the fascinating world of twin research. Soon after, they met Jaakko Caprio, her other mentor, who would shape Kirsi's scientific path.
Then we went to meet him, and I became immediately very interested in the topic.
Twins are nature's mirror, and Kirsi was looking for the crack in the reflection.
There's something very specific in them. To be so close to some other person.
What fascinated Kirsi was not the sameness, but the subtle ways twins grow apart. In those differences, she saw a deeper lesson.
By studying twins, you can distinguish what's genetic, what's the role of genes, and what is the role of your own environment and your own choices. If you are an identical twin, then your weight development is exactly the same. But if you are a non-identical twin, they can be very different in their body size. Already 1-year-old babies, and that tends to stay. Genes play a big role, but rarely determine body weight. Life story also matters.
If genes were not the whole story, and neither were choices, what was shaping our bodies? Kirsi wanted more than explanations. She turned inward, just as omics methods emerged, new tools that let scientists measure thousands of molecules in a single sample.
The omics methods began to rise, so we were lucky enough to be able to study adipose tissue with an omics method.
With these sweeping methods, the unexpected came into focus. Patterns no one had seen before, hidden in plain sight within fat tissue.
We were very surprised, and we realized that, this is actually super interesting. We were one of the first in the world that found that in adipose tissue in obesity, mitochondrial expression patterns are low.
Mitochondria are tiny engines in our cells, converting food into the energy we need.
Adipose tissue was thought of lazy tissue, not very active at all, whereas we found the opposite.
Fat was no longer storage. It was a conversation, and mitochondria were whispering something new.
I, of course, thought that weight loss would reverse the mitochondria. So if obesity causes mitochondria to work poorly, then weight loss will recover that.
After all, wasn't that the point of losing weight?
Weight loss in adipose tissue does nothing good for your mitochondria. Instead, your mitochondria function even less actively after weight loss. And I thought that I can't tell this result to my patients, and I kept this result under my desk for years. When I began to think of it like a little closer, I then understood that, this is a true result.
What if the body was not broken? What if it was defending itself?
If you lose weight, your body has tens or hundreds of mechanisms by which it tries to fight back. most likely suppressing mitochondrial function is one of the ways in which the body tries to keep the fat in. That is the evolutionary, conserved biological system that now kicks in when you try to lose weight. If you lose weight, normally by lifestyle, mitochondria seem to be going down, but if you lose weight by bariatric surgery, then they actually go up. Very heavily and in nearly every patient.
What was triggering this recovery? Could the signal be coming from the blood, gut hormones, or something else?
The beauty about bariatric surgery is that these gut hormones help you lose weight in many different ways. They both improve satiety and improve your peripheral tissue mitochondrial function.
What if those signals could be switched on without surgery? Could something in the blood, hormones, or other signals be the spark?
Let's look at circulating factors. Maybe these are the determinant factors for the peripheral tissue mitochondrial activation.
Obesity research keeps shifting the frame, asking not just what works, but why.
Whenever we need an improvement in the treatment scheme, we should not hold back. I am a big fan of obesity medications because it has improved our treatment success. We have already run a study. We have taken adipose tissue biopsies. We are searching what it does in the tissue level.
But science alone is not enough. Kirsi knew that real care starts with connection, with meeting people, not just as patients, but as individuals.
We have a treatment portal for weekly sessions, and then we have a coach, an individual, actual healthcare professional for each patient. We took a very compassionate way of looking at it, trying to relieve the stigma of obesity treatment in the medical community, but also the self-stigma.
And that compassion was not just philosophical, it was physiological.
With this symptom that you have with your appetite, it often tells me that there's some kind of a system error in your body.
Behind her, a team and a foundation.
I have 2 wonderful teams, and without these people, I would be nothing. Whatever issue I had, I could always rely on them. It began with Aila's team, and then all of a sudden, it was my team.
And while the science moved forward, Kirsi kept one foot firmly in the clinic, where the real questions begin.
Having patience is very important for me, because then it's kind of a reality check. What is actually needed? What is even the research that we should be doing so that it benefits our patients? I think that patients have taught me as much as I've learned from the literature.
And in the end, success is not just about losing weight, it's about gaining health.
We should maybe focus less on body weight, but we should also respect the fact that many people actually do also want to lose weight. And if it is so, then we help in that journey, as well as helping all the health benefits that are beyond weight loss. Every choice that we make can make a good metabolic effect.
Health is not about perfection, it's about progress, not shame, but science, not one path, but support for every step.
It's not their own fault, and it's definitely not their choice. They can decide what they eat, but they can't decide whether they became satiated or not. When my patients hear me saying this, it's a big relief not needing to think that I did something wrong myself.
After decades of research, the message is clear. Our own body fighting to hold on to fat because it once meant survival. Obesity is not a failure of willpower. It's a misunderstood biology, now finally being heard.